everyone. Welcome to Recalibrate the podcast. Today I'm here with my super bestie, my best friend of all best friends in all the land, Brenna. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with Brenna. We're going to see what happens. It's really just going to be you guys kind of sitting in on me and Brenna having a conversation. Brenna's often the one who talks me off a fear ledge and gets me back onto planet Earth when I'm freaking out about my menstrual cycle, my thyroid, having cervical cancer, or whatever new diagnosis I have self-diagnosed. So I'm really excited to have Brenna just share some of her story and her journey and knowledge with all of us. So before we get into it, you know the drill if you've been listening for a while. I'm going to light a candle. If you have a candle nearby and you want to join us in the ritual, we can all kind of sit around the fire, the storytelling fire. So I'm going to light the candle, and then just for my own sake, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths if you would like to join me in that as well. So I just want to thank our ancestors, mine and Brenna's ancestors, and everyone who's listening, all of the dead, for being with us and always guiding our steps and helping us make it through this earthly realm. I know that you are so much closer than it seems, and so thank you for being here with us. And of course, thank you to the plant spirits and the animal spirits, but particularly the plant spirits today who walk so closely with Brenna and myself, but who Brenna has really introduced me to so many of the plant spirits. So just gratitude for the plants and also the animals that nourish us, because as we all know, Brenna's no longer a vegan. And I just want to thank everyone listening for being here. And I'm sure there's so many more other things I could pray about, but I'm just going to leave it at that and take my 3 deep breaths. So go ahead and release whatever breath is in your lungs right now, and we'll breathe in together. And let it out. Again, breathe in, make it even deeper this time. And breathe out. Last one, perhaps the deepest breath you've had all day. And hold it for a second. A little more. And let it out. Thank you so much, Brenna, for joining me, and everyone listening. I'm really excited. So, Brenna, if you could just maybe give us a little introduction of who you do, the name of your business, where people can find you, things like that. Okay.
I'm Cala's best friend. That's my title forever. No, but my family has a business. It started out as my mom and I. We would do a lot of like paint and plant events, but it kind of turned into Connor, my partner, also joining us in our craftings classes, consultations and whatnot, called Pachnoi Herbal Arts, which is also the name of our son, Pacha. He was named after the San Pedro cactus, so it's kind of like this. Actually, Callie, you're the one who told me, I think it was like breaking down Pacha and Noi, Pachnoi, which is New Earth. And he was also named after Aldous Huxley, which is his middle name, and he wrote A Brave New World. So Callie gave me that like breakdown after he was born, which was crazy. But that's what our business is about, you know, it's bridging the old world and this new world, and bringing community and responsibility and resourcefulness to the center, which is kind of like the encapsulation of my journey so far.
And you're an herbalist. You work at the herb shop too, and
I've woven into a couple herb shops here in Phoenix, Tempe, Mesa, Gilbert area. But Southwest Herb is my home forever, and that's in Mesa. It's a really special place, and yeah, that's where I started my journey, being like tightly woven in with the plants and really wanting to learn more. And work with herbal medicines for my own health, just because I knew like other systems weren't working for me, and that's was like the most resonant thing that I felt drawn to at the time. And it's been over 5 years, 6 years almost, since walking into Southwest Herb and being like, this is it. This is where I feel lit up, and where I know I'll find healing. Um, but there was a lot of other things before that. So do you want me to kind of get into that history? Or?
Yeah, well, first I was just gonna say Brenna is an herbalist and can help you with your, like she does one-on-one consultations, classes, all the fun things, and also is like embodied very much in this practice. Like Brenna works with the plants herself all the time and, takes care of her family and nurtures her family with the plants as well. And, whole foods and the whole gamut of
Yeah, not a vegan
things.
anymore. So.
We did a whole podcast about that, like, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago now. So
Yeah, I
if you
think it's
haven't
been like
listened to that,
4 or 5 years now.
I've been on way
4
too long
years.
of a hiatus, but you can go listen to that one if you want to hear about the plant, or I mean, the vegan to not vegan journey. That was like shortly after you ate your first bison
Bison.
steak. And now you're like way, way beyond that.
Bone mama forever.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to, like we talked about before we got on, I think that an important part of humanity and how we learn from each other is by hearing other people's stories and journeys and being able to see ourselves in someone else. So I would be honored if you would share maybe like, a little bit more about your journey and how you found yourself walking through Southwest or Southwest Herb
Yeah.
stores.
Yeah, so as a kid, through preteens, teen years, I started having a lot of really uncomfortable symptoms, getting really sick, in and out of the hospital, seeing a lot of like specialists, doctors, all around this term of like autoimmunity, whether it was like a Hashimoto's diagnosis, Epstein-Barr, like all these different things. And I really attached to it because it was like, this is what someone is labeling me as. I'm also like not feeling well, not my best, have all these symptoms. And this is the only thing presented to me of like healing. It's like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to do these things, you have to take these pills, whatever. And you'll get better. Not, but like that's, the presentation, is to like listen and be a good girl, and do what the doctor says.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on that journey for quite a while. Nothing ever getting better, but just like kind of transforming into the next wave. Yeah, just
And like
suppressing
masking it.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and eventually I started working in the medical marijuana system. And so like I had this background of like plants heal, or like this plant can heal. Like the most popular plant. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'll ride with this. I'll be a bud tender and, tell people that they can find healing in this plant. And, you do see a lot of that, but a lot of it was still like that allopathic model of healing, of just like putting a band aid on a symptom. And that's what I was used to. Um, After I had my first son over 6 years ago, that's when I really was like, oh, this does not work. Like this is making me go crazy. First, before I had my son, they told me like I would never be able to have kids, most likely, just because of
Wow.
thyroid things, hormones. And I also had at one point like really low platelets, where I would supposedly would have like had a brain bleed or be dead or whatever they told me, but um I wasn't. I was fine, obviously. But that was just another factor to like, you can't have kids. Well, I got pregnant and, that was fine. But in that pregnancy was when I was like, I don't want to vaccinate my son. I don't want to do all these things. So I knew things were coming up that weren't in alignment with me, with that system and what they were telling me to do. Um, and I was like pretty natural for the most part. And after I had him, it was when I really started like my healing, working with a naturopath, and um, kind of deciding more things for myself, I ditched like the synthetic thyroid prescriptions and other things I was on. I was just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I don't believe this diagnosis is who I am. And as soon as I dropped that diagnosis, things started to get better for me. And, it's been a long journey since, but I really think like claiming that as who I was or like a part of me was part of the poison.
Mm,
And yeah, but it came from a place of fear, right? Like I was, scared that my body wasn't doing what it needed to do. I was just taking on the fear. One that was like being pushed at me as that like programming since I was little. But also just not being in that unknown of like not knowing anything else other than what was being presented to me and knowing that it wasn't working. So like as a new mother, like forcing myself to find something else. Like I remember being so scared that I wouldn't be able to take care of my son if like something happened because I didn't
mhm,
trust, the system that's available.
right.
Didn't want to take him there, like he when he was born, we were like with midwives at a birth center and got transferred into the hospital, and just the amount of abuse and like mm, forcefulness that some of the practitioners and doctors there would put on me for like not vaccinating or not wanting
Mhm,
to choose a pediatrician right away. Like it was a lot. And so just being like scared not to go back there, but I was like, okay, what are my other options? Like
right.
I know there's another way. Um, and that's when the plants really like, I mean, I say like the plants, but I mean it. Like I think they really, stepped up and showed me this path of light,
Yeah,
and this path of remembrance that I think was always in me, from ancestors, not too far away. Like my great grandpa was actually like the curandero or like shaman of his town, and he would go up and find plants for people, and he worked with hypnotherapy and really cool things that I never knew of until I like opened my perception to herbal medicine and just honestly just like the question of like, is there something else?
mhm.
uh, and then of course like I started learning all these stories about ancestors and things that just made me remember even deeper.
Isn't
um,
that so cool? Not to interrupt you, but, like,
it's so
the
cool.
way that, like I can see it in my family too, like, the way that, like, our ancestors, we are just, like, extensions of them, and they live through us, so, like, not only is it the plants calling you, but I'm sure your great-grandpa, like, "Hey, hey,
Uh,
like, this is in our bloodline, like, you are an extension of me, like, carry this work and medicine forward."
totally, and I like it is them. Like I feel it in me. Like I don't so much think it's me. Like it is to an extent, but like it's them and
Mhm.
their journey that I'm remembering through like whatever cells or it's just crazy.
I have goosebumps.
Um, but yeah, so I ended up uh, walking into Southwest Herb. I had a friend that was going to take the certification course, and I think she was the one that really like planted the seed. Like I needed to go.
Did
Um,
you walk in first, like, to go get like, herbs or do a consult or to just do the class?
I honestly don't even remember. I think I went a couple times like just to get herbs, but my first like real memory of it is like being in the class.
Okay.
Like I don't, yeah, I don't really remember being a part of Southwestern too much before. It was very much so like, okay, I'm gonna take this class and learn about
Mhm.
it, and then it was like, oh, this is home.
Do you remember the first sorry,
Oh
we're
yeah,
getting out of order of your story, but I
questions.
just am, like, so curious. Do you remember the first plant that you really felt called to work with?
I mean, besides cannabis, because I feel like that's like everyone's.
Been there.
uh, yeah, but um, motherwort was a big one
Mm,
because of Kathy,
mm,
who founded Southwest Herb, and she's the one who taught the class, and she was my like real mentor. and still is, like through the other side. She passed away earlier this year, but
Mm,
um, she's been like my guiding light for since I walked in that door. Um, but she would always talk about motherwort, and so I kind of just was like, oh, duh, like it's motherwort. Um, but I feel like a lot of them just came like rushing in at once, uh,
mhm.
like, and it changes every day.
Yeah.
It's like, but motherwort with like that womb to heart connection, um, and staying relaxed through dysfunction. Like
Mhm.
that's what really like drew me to that medicine. And also like being a mom and wanting to find some sense of sovereignty, which like I don't, like in our day and age, like sovereignty is such a funny word because other forces can do whatever they want at this point. But
Yeah.
having that feeling of responsibility within was
Mhm.
really important for me to find. And so a lot of the plants kind of took me to find that.
So you kinda went through, like you were going to doctors your whole life and, like, our parents, like, I have the same story, like, my parents didn't know any better. That's just, like, what you do. You go to the doctor. Like, if something's wrong, you go to the doctor, they give you a pill, and then you fix it. And then you kinda transition to, like, a naturopath, which, is great and better, but kind of the like, same formula, and I feel like even people, when they come into an herb shop, it's they still we all, myself included, have been there, where I still have this mindset, like, "Oh, if I take this plant, my headache will go away."
It's like,
And
what's
that's
this
like
good for? Like, is
yeah,
this good for that? And it's like, well,
it's, like, so
kind of.
much more than that, and it's really not like, a quick or easy fix. Like it's not like,
No,
you're kind of like instead of that being it being a quick and easy fix, you kind of like build a relationship with the plants and it's like dynamic and ever changing and you learn to listen and um like I guess like treat the whole person or like
yeah,
yeah. So how would you explain can you explain maybe like what your understanding of like allopathic medicine is versus herbal medicine and then like how you would
yeah.
differentiate the two?
Well, like, so you said, like, like I started going to a naturopath, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is different. I think it's working, but it was all the same. It was like instead of prescriptions, it was like supplements.
Okay.
I was like, okay, we'll try this. We'll try that. We'll do this. Like, oh, it was familiar, but like just different enough where I could like expand my
Mhm.
um like where I was at,
Yeah.
Um and
A
so it
necessary step, you could say, like
yeah. And so it was just doing like a lot of that, like trying a lot of different things. Like I feel like I've tried every single fucking treatment, whatever therapy out there. Um
mhm.
and being like, "Oh, like this is all kind of the same." Like this is all tending to like the physical body. Like I feel like there's more than that. And so that's what the plants taught me was like there it is more. Like there is mind, body, and spirit, like a big thing. And um I think it was actually before I went to Southwest Herb, I got Reiki attuned. So I, had this understanding of spirit and energy and like how it moves through. I was really getting into that. Um, and I was trying to like put it all together. It's like, okay, like I could tend to my spirit here, I could tend to my mind, tend to my body. But it's like, how do I put this all together? And the plants were like, oh, like that's how you do it. Um, and I started learning from another teacher, Seja, at the School of Evolutionary Herbalism, and he works with alchemy, and so it's this understanding that there is, mind, body, spirit to everything, and you can separate that, and you could also, put it back together, and it's bioavailable for everyone, um, and
Meaning, like, it's mind, body, spirit for the plants as well.
yeah, yeah, and this like intelligence is like effortless to attain kind of
Mm.
um and I'm trying to see where I want to go with this because things, but
We can go all the directions, so just pick one. Start there.
it yeah, it ended up being like more of a feeling, like it wasn't so much so like, yeah, I don't know. It just made sense to me on this, like how we talk about remembering. Like it was a remembrance of I'm tired of just like covering things up. And if I want to become more responsible and understand things more to like take care of myself and my family, like I need to go a little bit deeper. Um, and having that understanding of, you know, more holistic lens of thinking instead of like allopathic, which has its place, but um, it allowed me to go a lot deeper. And so, learning from Kathy from the plants and um, knowing who I am too, like that got me there. And Kathy has this saying, and she also has a book where it's like finding the herbalist within,
Mm,
nurturing and finding the herbalist within. And to me, I was like, okay, like what does that mean for me? Like, who is this herbalist within? Um, and to me, I was like, okay, like I can manipulate symptoms all day long, right? Like I know how to do that. That was familiar to me. Like we can, you have a headache, you could take this, change the headache. But it's like, why is my body and my spirit bringing this up?
hmm
What needs to be looked at?
Right.
And that's where I found like the true freedom, because it's like I could go as deep as I want within myself and to really like sit with that and be comfortable sitting with that, which has been like the biggest, test and journey is like, can I be comfortable here? Um, and little by little, I felt more comfortable, like taking care of myself, taking care of my son, and not looking to all these different, all the noise or like all the outside things, which sometimes, you need to ask questions of other more experienced people. But um, for me, it was like really just finding that for myself.
Right.
I hope that
So
kind
the
of,
that makes sense.
okay.
So the allopathic medicine is like, take this for this and this for this, and it's kind of like masking the
Yeah.
symptoms and not really ever questioning like why they're there on even a physical level, let alone a spiritual or mental or emotional one. Like your doctor's not going to ask you questions about that. Your typical allopathic doctor. But then it's like, you could go to an herbalist and have them give you a formula, and that's great. Like I've done that multiple times in my life where I've had someone else like who has more knowledge give me a formula, and that's been helpful. But it's also like I feel like on this journey myself too, inspired by you, I have been able to go deeper into like, okay, why is this happening? And like even also just like accepting it. Like you're always like, quit diagnosing yourself and like catastrophizing and like, just trying to fix yourself all the time. Like, what if there's nothing to fix? And like, so it's like, yes, sometimes looking at like the underneath, like, why am I having this headache, for example, but also sometimes just letting a headache be a headache and like just being with that headache and being
Yeah.
uncomfortable in it. And then,
Yeah, like life isn't fucking comfortable, dude. It's like it's
no,
really not.
yeah.
Um, and I kind of like, was really like on that page for a while. It's like my life's gonna be comfortable, like I was born into some sense of privilege. I have amazing parents, like
Mhm.
always had a roof over us, food, everything. Um, and so I didn't have to live through too much like outside discomfort growing up. But like physically, like I inside myself and like symptoms that would come up or just like emotional things, like of course I've experienced discomfort.
Mhm.
Um, and instead of being like, I'm gonna fix this right now, like take this, which sometimes it does have its place, like even in, it's not just Western medicine and pharmaceuticals, that's allopathic medicine. Like you said, like you can go to an herbalist or um, make a tea for yourself to help something right away like that.
Mhm.
That's totally valid. You should take care of, if there's like pain coming up, and you want to help yourself, you should do that. But Also, like, sometimes there is medicine in that discomfort. Like, I've gone through so many things where, like, even trying to put that Band-Aid on, like, it would not help, like,
Hmm.
skin issues or whatever it is, and it's like, "Okay, I just gotta sit through this." And even with my kids, it's like, "Okay, a fever comes up. Like, what am I gonna do?" Like, "Oh, well, it'll go away." Like, I can just do nothing. And obviously, like, watch and see, and
Right.
um, there's always those lines where you're like, okay, I can do something right now to support the vital force, but um, a lot of it is just trust, and it's been like a lot of mm, there's been a lot of tests, like just with myself of like, can I trust this? Can I trust myself? And by saying yes to that, it's allowed me to go deeper the next time instead of being like, oh, it could be this. Like, should I look this up? Whatever.
Right. I told the kids, we were just talking about this the other day because they were like starting to have like a sore throat or sniffles or something. And I was like, that's symptom isn't the problem. It actually is like evidence that your body is doing what it needs to do to heal.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. Like you already were sick. And now your body is creating more mucus or the sore throat or whatever to like flush your body of the sickness, so or whatever it is. I know we could get into like virology and like whether or not germs are real and blah 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 all that shit, but like just so like in kid language, like whatever was going on is by virtue of there being a symptom showing up, like it is already on its way to
Yeah.
healing. Like that's your body doing its job. So like by taking the fever reduction medicine, like we talk about this with them often too, like by taking the Tylenol to reduce your fever just because like, oh, it's uncomfortable and it's scary and like fevers, if it gets too high you could die, like yeah, that's true. You want to like monitor a fever in a child, of course, but like to just take something to suppress it, like what are you actually doing, like
Mhm.
in your unwillingness to sit with the discomfort of a fever that is your body's mechanism to fight off whatever infection or whatever's going on internally. Like
Yeah.
your body's
What
always
else are you
working.
suppressing by doing
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And what impact is that going to have on the sickness, quote unquote, for the remainder of it? Like there's been studies about how it like prolongs the illness because you can't even your body's trying to heal. Like that's why it's getting a fever. So even
Honestly,
just like that
yeah,
shift. But go ahead.
that's like one of that mindset is something that makes me like actually really proud in the way I've mothered my boys, because I'll see like my oldest get, a scratch on his knee and he's like, my body's healing. I'm like, yeah, dude, your body is healing like all the time. Like there's not something wrong with it. And even like through, we have the example of fevers, like it's like, okay, there's some sort of biological response here that's supporting the vital force, and we could trust this vital force. um and that was one of the biggest things, like through my journey of becoming or being an herbalist, working with the plants, is like we can support the vital force in the body, and that's so fucking simple, but it was like
Mhm.
so hard to like flip that switch in the brain of like suppressing, like taking care of it or whatever from other systems that's been presented to us. And it's like, oh, this is actually really simple. And the plants do it so effortlessly. Like they, you know, are very supportive in that way. Like you can use it in other ways, but like just thinking of like yarrow for a fever, and it's like, oh, that will support the vital force and like moving that energy up, like which is what a fever is doing already.
Mm.
Um, it's just really interesting.
So it's more of switching to like understanding that the plants are just supporting what your body is already doing on its own.
Yeah.
And it's like Jake and I were just talking about this because of like his vasectomy and stuff. Like he's like, you're trying too hard. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to force it. I'm just trying to support your body
Supporting it.
in doing what it needs to do. Like you don't heal on just prayer alone always. Like, sometimes it is like there's nothing wrong with wanting to support your body, but like it is a fine line sometimes between like what we said we wanted to talk about, like taking responsibility for your healing or your body or whatever, and like fearfully trying to
Mhm.
control it, you know what I mean? And suppress it or whatever that is. So maybe you could talk a
Yeah.
little bit about like because I feel like we ride that line
Mhm.
often, like between supporting and being fearful, trying
Yeah.
to control.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that word control, but, like, I like that example, because that's been, like, a big thing for me in especially, like, my journey of being a mother. It's like, how much of this am I gonna control? And my biggest lesson for that was, like, when, uh, my oldest son, his dad and I split up, and it's like, "Okay, am I gonna try to control every aspect of his life and, like, the time when he's with his dad and not with me? Like, I'm gonna go fucking crazy if I try to control this." Like, I'm gonna go crazy. And so that was honestly like one of my biggest, besides like my journey with my own health, that was like a huge outside lesson of trust and surrender. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, even though like whatever qualms we have with each other, it's like, I gotta fucking trust. And I gotta trust this baby that he chose this dad for a reason and that his dad knows what he's doing and that he is safe and supported and all the things. I put my love, my prayers on him, wrap him in it before he goes to his dad's. And then it's whew, like I gotta turn it off and just say my prayers. But that was my biggest lesson with that. It's like I cannot control these situations. I'm gonna go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
Same
and then
just like you
after that,
can't control your symptoms. Like
right.
your body's gonna do to an extent what it's gonna do. And like
Yeah.
the more you try to manipulate and control and protect and blah, 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 you're just gonna freak
You'll
yourself
send
out.
yourself into like a psychosis, dude. Like I cannot go there.
Yeah.
And it's so much work. And I'm so much more on the page of like ease. Like make it fucking simple. Like there's
Hmm.
so much going on. Like you can make things as simple as you fucking want. And that's really like my vibe. Like, just make it fucking simple. Um and it ends up being a lot easier. Like at least for me, like it's a lot fucking easier to just trust and surrender than it is to like control, because I've been there. Like I've been
Hmm.
there. I've been that person. I don't like the way it feels.
Hmm.
And obviously, like it did not help my body or my mind in any way. And then
Yeah.
so like taking those lessons and really understanding like who I am and like how I work with the plants and knowing that like I don't need the plants. Like I'm probably like the worst herbalist for saying that, but like I don't like none of us do. Like we do, 'cause they're a part of nature and we are nature and it's like all part of the big picture, but like I don't need to take this specific tea every day to like, induce this healing or whatever. Like I trust my body also has that intelligence within it. And like you said, like we can support all we want. And that's like what a great opportunity that is to do that and to have the knowledge to do that.
You could live off Rice Krispies like
So,
for your whole life. Like you don't need anything. Like your body
right.
will survive. I mean, it may not thrive,
Yeah.
but like you
Yeah.
could survive off of Rice Krispies, but like, obviously you don't want to do that. But what seems easeful and like what I've found in my own life is easeful is like rather than because I was a sup girl and like I still take my magnesium sup because like my shits are just way better when I have a magnesium sup in my life. But like aside from that, like I've ditched most of the sups, all of them really, in favor of like just supporting my body with whole foods. Like 1 tablespoon of sauerkraut a day has more probiotics than a whole bottle of probiotic pills. Like, and it's so much easier and more cost effective to just eat a fucking spoonful of sauerkraut a day and like support my body and it tastes good like in my breakfast with my eggs and shit. So like,
And it
you
feels
know,
good. Like it
exactly.
feels good to be like, I'm consciously gonna get this like whole food that like where it came from for the most part,
Bubbies.
and and you're taking it for like an intended purpose instead of just being like, oh, here's a capsule.
Yeah. I mean, I also do still buy, I should, I guess, be full disclosure. I do still buy like a cod liver supplement because I definitely do not eat enough fish in my
Mhm.
life. And like, I don't really like fish. Like I like sushi
Yeah.
sometimes, but like, so but that's like a whole food supplement that my body can recognize and digest and assimilate into my cells with like ease because like it's one ingredient. It's
Um,
codfish liver oil, like,
yeah.
and then same with like beef liver and things. And then just like, eating foods that I know are like nourishing for my body and also not being afraid to have a Mexican Coke or a regular Coke, an American Coke, like whatever fucking kind of Coke minus,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, I'm not saying like that kind of Coke, but like Coca-Cola or whatever, like going to Filiberto's or like living my life from time to time, having a beer on a
Yeah.
hot Sunday. Like, I'm not afraid
That's
of
what
that shit.
your body can let it fucking go.
Exactly.
If
That's
your
why
mind can let it go, your body can let it go. So
I like that. Yeah, but I mean, I've
yeah.
learned a lot of that from you. So, like, maybe you could tell me, like, what sort of things do you incorporate, or like, how do you work with plants with your kids, or like, what does your day look like
Yeah.
as a herbalist with your family?
Well, I used to be like a lot more like on a regiment. Like I was, I would take this tea in the morning and then I'd take this, like my cod liver oil, my beef liver, whatever. Used to be pretty on top of it and it felt great. And then somehow I had 3 kids and then I was like, oh, a little bit busier than,
Yeah.
than I used to be. Um, and also like it just got exhausting. And like I said, like
Hmm.
is number one. So if I feel like I need something, like I'll do it. Like we are so blessed to like have a lot of herbs in this house. Like I could make whatever tea I want, for the most part. Um, and just I like to just make it simple. Like with my kids, it's like what's the energy around this? And not like some like woo woo energy. It's like very basic, like hot, cold, dry, wet. Like
Mm.
let's just keep it simple because kids know that. The kids know
Hmm.
that, we know that. It's very simple. Um, and supporting our body in that. And so since, I've been postpartum for like forever, feels like I try
Which
to
time?
yeah, I try to keep things pretty warm, just to like support the tissues and keep me grounded and um like with sense of like nourished. So I stick with my warming herbs and once you
Like
kind of
what?
learn. So like this morning I made like a Don Quai tea with some burdock root. Um, and it we're kind of coming out of summer, but during the summer, like I was drinking chrysanthemum tea with maybe like hibiscus and nettles, something that's a lot cooler, because it's hot as hell here in Arizona. But um, and then my kids just kind of copy what I'm doing. They're like, milky oats is huge with us. Okay, so like one thing we take every day is milky oats,
Mm.
which is literally just like oats, just like how you would eat oatmeal, but instead of like letting the seed fully mature, it's like right when it turns ripe, and there's a latexy fluid on the tip of the oat seed, and um, that latex kind of coats your nerves, and it's really soothing. Um, it's really like mucilaginous, and it coats your nerves and regenerates the nerve sheath. So it kind of
Mm.
brings this like calm and relaxed nature and helps you regulate your emotions in a more easeful way, I guess.
Hmm.
So the boys take it, I take it, and I feel like we stay somewhat chill because of the milky. Like
You
we
guys
have
are pretty chill,
Kala knows more than anyone. Like these boys get rowdy sometimes, talking on the phone and they're screaming, but
but
for the
not
most
like emotionally rowdy, just like little boy rowdy more
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Like I mean, of course they have like a little meltdown every now and then, but it's not like the meltdowns you sometimes see with other kids where you're like, holy shit, like they are having a fucking like sugar crash or tech crash right now.
And they get over it fast too. Like
Exactly.
that's one thing. Like these boys get over things so fast. And I
Hmm.
swear it's because they have support of the plants and also like I make it very like I try to do my best and just keeping my calm because I know if I'm not, they're gonna get freaked out. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, the milky oats is huge, and like making sure our breakfast is like stacked. Like
What
we
does
gotta
that
have
mean?
like eggs, protein, carbs. Like we need all of it. We need some really good healthy fats. Um, I tell Hendrix all the time, I'm like, okay, we got our brain food, we got our muscle food, and we got like our like happy fuel. Like we got to have all those things before we leave the house, or else it's
So
gonna
tell
be
me, like
disaster.
tell me what, like, a typical breakfast at your house looks like, or one of them.
Simplest is like eggs, cheese, bacon, bread.
Okay.
It's like so simple. And I'm like, okay, like our grandmas were eating this shit. Like we could eat
Yeah.
this. My favorite is like usually like we're big on soups, not so much in the summer, but like we usually always have some sort of soup or chili or whatever, and like
Mhm.
stock pot forever. And I always have leftovers, and in the morning I'll just heat that up and throw in eggs, and it's warming. Um, it has, bone broth in it, super nutrient dense, and it's gonna have like a meat and a carb or something like that. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much like our standard go-to um, for breakfast, and then usually like a tea. The boys love their tea too, so just having some sort of tea,
That's so cute.
milk. But yeah,
Okay, so you just they just follow your lead, and, like, whatever you're feeling, they just, like, participate with you,
yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah. And like the second they get like a scrape or a bite or a like rash or something, they're like plant medicine. Mom, where's the plant medicine? Like, dude, your body can do that on its own. I promise. You're fine.
Dude,
But
it's
it's
like
like
a kid thing.
soothing. Yeah, and I think at that point it's like an emotional thing. Like, okay, like we're
Dude,
helping this
same.
little scratch.
They're like, "I need a Band-Aid."
No,
I'm
we've
like,
banned band-aids unless it's like you
"Really?"
obviously need a band-aid. Yeah, it's a whole psychological thing.
Dude, it is. I see it even in these, like, these older kids. I'm like, "Damn, dude, you definitely don't need a Band-Aid for that."
Pasha will like, oh, and there's like nothing under the band-aid at this point.
Dude.
It's a 5-day-old band-aid, just so you
Dude, straight up. Then they'll be like, "I need a new Band-Aid." I'm like, you should just let it air out for a little bit."
know. We're fine. There's wrinkles under there.
Yeah. Oh, these kids.
But yeah, finding a lot of that like resourcing and responsibility on my own has definitely shaped my motherhood. And like, I don't know, do you want to get into Pacha's birth? Do you want to do that? 'Cause I think that's
Sure.
it.
I was just gonna let me say one more thing. I feel
Yeah.
like, just for everyone listening, like, there's a time and a place and a season for everything, right? So, like,
Mhm.
I'm in more of a season where, like, I'm not, like, psycho crazy about the beef liver and all that, but, like, I'm trying to prepare my body to conceive. And so, especially being like a 36-year-old woman, like, I'm putting a little bit more emphasis on that. And if you have like an acute or like something that you are working through, like, there's no shame in, like, drinking the tea every day, like, religiously, like, that could be supportive for a season. And then it'll naturally kind of like fall off for a while, and that's okay too. So just like being gentle with yourself in the seasons of, like, I don't know anyone that, like, is on their shit throughout their whole life, like drinking their tea, the same tea every day. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be dynamic and let things ebb and flow as your own journey ebbs and
Yeah.
flows.
And it feels so good to get in that rhythm of like responsibility of like preparing, like you're preparing yourself for a specific intention right now.
Yeah.
And to have that like authority and like intention in that feels really good. I
Yeah.
think that's why I love being pregnant so much because it's like you get to like do all these things to prepare and yeah, and nourish yourself, which is like feels so good. And no matter how you do it, like whether it's herbs or a specific workout or routine, like it feels good.
Yeah.
It's that like and that's where like mind, body, spirit come in too. Is like consciously doing these acts.
Hmm. Yeah. And also not beating yourself up when it inevitably falls off again.
Yeah,
Like, you're not in the phase of doing the beef liver right now. And it's not like you're like, I haven't taken beef liver. I'm fucked up, you know, like you can just let the beef liver fall off for a
Yeah,
little bit, and then when you feel the beef calling, you know,
yeah,
you can get back right
yeah.
back into it. So,
And you do those things will like speak to you, like
mhm,
even if it's not with the plants, like like animals or whatever it is, like that thing will speak to you, and then eventually you'll like see it here, see it there, and then you're like, okay, I need to listen to that, I need to listen.
mhm,
And that was
yeah,
like with burdock, like I kept seeing it repeatedly. I was like, okay, I need to just fucking drink some burdock or
yeah,
eat some right now. Um,
totally.
yeah, so just being open enough to listen to that.
Okay, great. Now I feel like we've resolved or finished that part. So I would love to get into. You want to talk
Mhm.
about Pacha's birth? You want to talk about
Yeah, well, I mean, they're
both
both
their
very
births?
similar, but
Okay.
it, like, comes back to that control aspect, and trying to find ease in
Hmm.
it. It's like, "Okay, I'm done controlling." Obviously, there's certain things we want a little bit more control over, but it's like, it's just exhausting. Like, I'm not here to control all the things and make bigger problems for myself. So, um, Pacha's spirit came in, um, before I thought he was gonna come in.
I was like,
Like,
I'm
who's
not.
gonna say this?
I'm gonna see how she says this.
I don't wanna be naming names here. Yeah, and I knew there was, this other oh boy, this other being hanging out, wanting to come through, and um I was kind of rolling with it. And I was living a pretty free lifestyle. Like I was working at the herb shop on Mill, and um really into like what feels good. Um and then Connor came into my life, and immediately Pacha came through.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, we were working together for a while, but then, like, once, things started heating up between us, it was like, "Oh, okay, we're having Pacha. We're
we're
having a
having
baby."
a we're
Uh,
having a baby.
and thank God for him, he was, like, on my page pretty much the whole time. There was no, like, big, um, differences in what we wanted or, like, our opinions for the most part. But I knew I didn't wanna go back to the hospital. Like, why would I when at this point I was in complete control of my health after being so out of control, or not, like I was taking responsibility for my symptom management or just my life. I
Mhm,
don't really want to say symptom management, but it was just, I was just doing my own thing. Like, why would I go back into that system that I worked so hard to like deprogram from?
mhm,
And I worked so hard to like listen to myself and um, educate myself on body systems and the plants, and um, yeah, all that work that I was doing.
and it's
And
easy once you get back in that system, even for one quick little checkup, that they're like, hook you with the fear,
yeah,
you
it's like,
know?
oh, you might have this. Oh, you should do this test. Oh, this.
Yeah.
Wait.
So you were like, "Fuck that, I'm just gonna dial
Yeah.
in and into my own intuition and my own power and ride that wave and see what happens."
Yeah. And like there are other choices. Like I could have gone to a birth center. I could have had, home births at home with a
A
midwife.
midwife.
And I knew I was going to birth at home. Like that was something that was pretty obvious to me. I tried the birth center thing before and it didn't feel good. Um, I knew I wanted to birth at home, and he was, all for that. We just wanted something sweet and safe in our eyes, like what we felt safe, not what other people told me was safe. Like, what do I feel is safe? What does my baby feel is safe? And it was just like very simple, like keeping it simple and easeful. Just be at home. It's like,
Mhm,
why does this need to be something different? Like, this is just another day of like my life. Like, if I were to bleed, like have a normal bleeding cycle, like I wouldn't do anything different other than like get a hot pack and make myself some soup. Like, why would
Mhm.
I change my life for this event
Mhm.
that my body's bringing up? So um, I learned about, like whatever the term free birth or whatever it is, but I started opening myself up to that. I knew that's what I was going to do. I just wanted to like let birth happen.
Mhm.
Um, and really my thing was like interventions. Like I didn't want to intervene this like natural process that I knew how much like magic it brought. I knew um, I had to like this responsibility of keeping that circle intact. And for me, that was like not having other people come in, um, not leaving my space. And that would kind of allow things to unfold as they naturally do within my body. So through that pregnancy, and of course, Connor had questions too. Like he was asking questions. I got like a course thing for us to listen to, which pretty much like just went over things that could happen or like things that are on the variation of normal and what you could do to support that,
Mhm.
or your options at least. And that was really helpful for him. For me, I was just like, I'm just gonna follow my body and see what happens. um, so yeah, I went through that pregnancy, just doing my own thing, did what made like things that made me happy, massage, acupuncture, things to support my body. Um, yeah, and then he was born. Like it was just very simple. I feel like, and obviously my memory of it is different than some things that there's spirit in the room.
What's up, love? Yeah, it's okay. He goes, "Are you still recording? Sorry."
Take
Take that Um, and yeah, you didn't like go. You didn't get any ultrasounds or go to the doctor or do anything, right?
No, the more research I was doing, like on things like ultrasound, it just wasn't of interest to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that was it. Um, and I didn't want to do anything that would like input more fear
Hmm.
or just input fear because I was just riding a wave of like I'm pregnant and then I'm not going to be pregnant and then there's probably going to be a baby here.
Yeah.
um, and that's exactly what happened. Um, went into labor and just kind of rode those waves. I realized through labor, I was like, oh, I've been just kind of like, I was so on the page of like easeful and just like surrender that like I was maybe a little too surrendered. I was just
Mm.
like in one spot, not wanting to move or do anything. Um, thinking I didn't have to do like any work at all. I was like, okay, eventually I got to get up and move my body and help this baby come out. So I went on the toilet. He came out. His
Yeah.
placenta came out. It was beautiful. We did a cord burning ceremony. It was perfect. We had a beautiful postpartum of just being in bed and being supported, having lots of nourishing foods. The only thing I did to like really prepare myself was like cook a bunch of bone broths and
Mm.
soups and have my freezer stocked and um yeah, taking responsibility in that way, like what do I need to do to feel supported.
Right.
um and it was great. It was so easy to just trust instead of like asking someone else like, is this okay, like do I need to do this, like well, what does this mean, which like of course we have those moments like we're going to, but instead of like instantly acting on it, I would just be like, okay, I can just kind of hold on to this for a little bit. What does this feel like? And then it would go away, like,
Yeah.
or we'll deal with it when it comes up. Like during pregnancy, you're always going to have that fear of like birth, I think, and like the
Hmm.
unknown, which is what it really is.
Hmm.
It's like, what if this? What if this? And it's like, okay, like, what if?
Yeah.
Guess I'll deal with it when it comes up. If it comes up, then we can deal with it. But I'm not going to get myself freaked out until then.
Yeah. And I mean, you did like prepare, like,
Yeah.
not only with the bone broth and stuff, but like you listened to the course and,
Yeah.
even if that mostly helped Connor, like I'm sure it taught you some
Yeah.
things and like,
Yeah, actually, okay, so going back to storytelling, I listened to hundreds of women's stories who like
yeah.
stories in the medical system with midwives and without, and I was just like, okay, perfect. I know like 100 different ways this could happen. It's going to happen in its own special way, but at least I have those stories to turn back to.
Right. Well, and like what you were saying, you said like at home you felt the most safe. And
Mhm.
like that's what every woman really has to ask herself
Right.
because like some women do feel more safe at a hospital. Like
Totally.
that's where they feel safe. And so they
Totally.
should go there. Like you should
Yeah.
go there if that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
But also like perhaps being willing to question that, and also like that's why it's so cool you can listen to these other women's stories and see like, oh, that's not the only safe option, like there are other options. And so I can listen to these women and even listen to Brenna right now and be like, okay, what feels true for me, you
Mhm.
know? And like you're on one end of the spectrum for sure, like, with
Yeah, I'm like
yeah, with your
on the
third,
end
you
of
didn't even
it.
take a pregnancy test, dude. Like you wanted to. You were like, I think I
Wanted
just
to
need to
so
take a
bad.
pregnancy test. I was like, Brenda, you literally just said with your next pregnancy, you're not going to take a pregnancy test like 1 week ago. You cannot take a
Yeah.
pregnancy test. Like,
This is
don't
why
do it.
you need best friends in your life to tell you.
But like me, I'm a little bit more like, I'm not going to birth a baby at home by myself. No, I need Rachel there. Like, I need Rachel there.
First and foremost, we need Rachel.
And like maybe some other bitches, like I'm not trying to do this by myself because I've never done it. And like that doesn't feel safe to me. And so everyone has to figure out like where on this spectrum do you fall? Like, are you a total free birth home by yourself person, like not even your husband in the room? Or are you like, you want to be in a hospital hooked up to all the monitors? And like to each their own. Like, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I think the question of always being like, okay, is this for me?
Yeah.
And like, where do I feel supported? Because we are like, we need the support. And
Hmm.
for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to put these things in place so I feel supported, so I can just, do my
Hmm.
thing. Um,
Like
and I
set the
did, I
room.
had a sister come in with Pacha's birth. I had a close friend come in, and that was really nice. But then eventually I was like, okay, I
You
need,
gotta go.
yeah, like I
Go
need my
another room.
space. Um, but yeah, that was a really fun journey to be on. And then so uh, a year and a half later, when I got pregnant again or whatever that timeline was, it was kind of just obvious, like, oh, okay, like we're just gonna do this again. But obviously, like with a lot more intention on nutrition and making sure like my minerals and everything were supported because I did just go through a big depletion with
Yeah.
birthing Pacha, and even though I felt pretty good, like I know those mineral stores weren't completely there. So having a focus there, I did choose not to do a pregnancy test, which was fun. So I was like, I had 3 bleeds after Pacha, and they were all on like the same day of the month. It was like I bled exactly a month later. I bled, and then I bled, and then I didn't, and I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Like this, I'm obvious. Like I'm pregnant. Um, and then eventually, like you just don't bleed, and so you're like, okay, yeah, I'm pregnant. I guess I didn't need to take a pregnancy test. And then eventually, you see a little bump, and you feel more,
Yeah.
all the things. But I'm really glad Calla was there to confirm my I'm
I was
not
like,
taking the test.
you'll know soon enough, Brenna. It's gonna be pretty fucking obvious if you don't bleed and you start to get fat. So
And it was also like, why? Like, okay, if I were to take the test, would it change anything?
no.
No, like nothing would change. So I just
I'm
kind of
taking the test,
rolling
dude.
with that. Well,
I
that's gonna
wanna
be the
have
most
that
exciting
moment where I'm
thing
like,
ever.
yeah, like I'm taking the fucking test, but like
Yeah.
I knew you didn't want to take the test. So I was like,
Yeah.
Brenna, don't
And
do
I
it.
already did it like 2 times before, so it was like
Yeah.
not as big of a deal. With your first, it's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and that's the thing
um,
too, it's dynamic. Like the
yeah.
more kids you have, like I know a woman who like had a natural birth, and then she was like, "Give me the shot, the epidural." I was like, "That's weird, but do you, girl? Like, whatever."
You gotta experience it.
Yeah,
um, Well, yeah, like in Ari's birth. So yeah, got pregnant. Didn't do anything besides massage therapy, tending to my body, my emotions, all the things. Second time around, pregnancy was so much easier. Just my relationship was in a healthier spot. Everything where I think when that emotional side is unbalanced, or any side for that matter, it gets a little like, like
Yeah.
symptoms
Hmm.
definitely are harder. Um, but yeah, with Ari, he was just such a little angel. His birth was, it's like 2 hours in the tub, like super simple, really magical. He spoke a song like into my consciousness with every contraction, which is really cool. Um,
Hmm.
and when he like his waters bulged out, and he's a Pisces, so it made sense, like being in the waters, his waters bulged out, and then it popped, and like the whole tub went red, and then eventually like his head dropped down and he came out. Um, but there was a moment in his labor where I was like, oh yeah, I can see why women choose to like just go to the hospital or do whatever they want to do. Like I could see myself in every single person and like every decision that could be out there, outcome. I was like, oh, this is what that would be like.
Yeah.
Without, it was more of like a curious standpoint, it's like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, this is the point where I would probably do that.
Yeah.
But you just kind of keep riding with it. I don't think Ari's birth was like painful at all, really. It was just intense.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours, like my births were, I was in labor with Hendrix for like 3 days, and then Pacho was like, I don't know, 16 hours, maybe 18 hours, and then Ari was 2 hours. So it's like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
um, it
Maybe
was so
next time
cool.
you'll have that mythical orgasmic birth.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was orgasmic, but it wasn't. It was like in between because it wasn't painful really. It was just
Hmm.
big. It just felt big.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and his postpartum brought a lot of healing. I think you were my most like immediate contact of just like crying and complaining too. But it was really rough physically, and it put me in the face of like, do I trust my body?
Hmm.
And there were times when I didn't. Like, even though I've been through so many lessons of like, do I trust this? There were times where I'm like, I don't think I do.
Yeah. You were like, I need to go to the ER.
Yeah, seriously. Like, there was a night where I was like, I think I need to go. And then my
Yeah.
mom was like, just taking a leave. And I was like, what's in a leave? Like, what is that?
Like, oh, and then you were like, that actually really helped.
Instantly. And I'm like, oh, this is what allopathic medicine is for.
Yeah, like it's okay. Do you hear that, everyone? Brenna took in a leave. Brenna took in a leave, so it's okay. It's okay.
And it felt great, and I'm so glad I did that. Um, it really brought me back to reality.
Dude, I mean, you don't gotta pop a leave like every day at the mildest discomfort, but like you were in a space where you were like, dude, I'm fucked up. Like,
Yeah,
and then your mom, thank God for moms, was like, why don't you just take this pill? Like, you're not gonna die because you take one a leave. You can still be crunchy. You can still be an herbalist.
yeah, yeah. There's a balance to it all, and it comes down to, it's just like, what is right for you? Like, is this for
Hmm.
you? Okay, right now this is fucking for me, so I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah,
And who cares? Like, no one fucking cares.
yeah.
Um,
No one
and I
died.
I had to take one, and that was it. It got me into a space of being like, okay, I could breathe and I could think for myself really again. So,
Hmm. Hell yeah.
but yeah, that's, I don't know where we're going now, but that's
I feel like we're going to the end, Like I feel like we
on somewhere.
we got we got the birth stories. We talked about I feel like this has been great. It really flowed well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so, baby.
yeah, so hopefully everyone else listening agrees. I really enjoyed this conversation and just appreciate your, vulnerability and honesty and sharing your story because it's always a little scary to like put yourself out there and
Yeah,
share things because everyone's always got something to fucking say. But I think it was great and I love you
I
and you
love you.
inspire me and teach me so much. Is
Likewise.
there anything else that you would want to share to my 43 people who listen to the podcast? Just kidding. There's a little more than that. But so we'll see, I guess.
You'll see. um, I don't know. I just like do whatever you got to do to quiet the noise. That's been my biggest thing. Is like just shut everything out.
Yeah.
Go outside in the sun or something. Figure it out. But the more like other things that got involved, like the more people that I would get involved in my shit, it just ends up confusing shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, you just find a few like teacher, like, definitely can find some teachers or resources on the internet that are helpful.
Yeah, and even then, like, when you get expanded into like a new topic, whatever, like for me it was like herbalism with plants. It was like, holy shit, there's so much to learn. It's like, where am I gonna go? There's like thousands of books, thousands, millions of fucking plants, and it's never gonna end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just a student for life, which I am, and we all are. But for me, it was like, okay, if I could just turn it back into like relationships, like how am I relating with my body is going to be the same way of how I'm relating, with my community and the plants or whatever I'm learning about. And that's going to be special to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can have my own experiences with it and share that instead of like reading a book and being like, this plant is an analgesic and this is going to help your pain for that. It's like so much more personal. And I think the more we turn to like our personal experience and relationships, the faster we're going to fucking heal together and do better as, a collective community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Put down the book.
Yeah.
But like pick up a couple.
Yeah. Find a couple of, I mean, you've definitely got some teachers that you trust, like Seja.
Yeah, if you're looking into like plant medicine, Seja Popham's amazing. Matthew Wood, Kat Meyer, some really great people.
Rosemary Gladstar.
Yeah, if you're just dipping your toes in, go talk to Rosemary.
Yeah, she's a great starting point for sure. And yeah, just take it a little at a time, and then you can also always like
one of my classes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we could say where to find you. And always take what feels good and leave the rest. Like not, even from people that you really love and trust, like you can just take parts that feel good and applicable to you. And then, not everyone's going to have the answers for every person. Like we're all so unique and dynamic in our bodies and constitutions and everything that like someone on the internet really doesn't know what's best for you.
No, yeah. Ignore the fucking TikTok noise, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, where can people find you? Do you do virtual consultations, Brenna?
I can do virtual consultations. Cal is trying to push me to do virtual classes or get-togethers, and
yeah, because otherwise I can't go.
We'll do it. We will do it.
We're gonna do it.
So yeah, but I don't know. I use Instagram right now for most of my communicating. At Earthling_Bren or Pachnoi Herbal Arts altogether. And then you can always email me at Brenna@Pachnoi Herbal Arts.
And I'll put all that in the show notes because maybe you don't know how to spell Pachnoi.
Maybe not.
Which, by the way, also means new dirt. Noi means dirt. So Jake and I
No. Noi means new. Pacha means
Pacha means or dirt. So we're always like new dirt.
New dirt.
I love it. Well, thank you.
We need to help our soils, so
we do.
Tend to the soil, people.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brenna. I will share Brenna's contact information. I definitely recommend you give her a follow, reach out if you have any questions about the plants, or stop into Southwest Herb and see her and her babies sometimes, at least the littlest one, when she's working, and just get in on the knowledge that is being held in Brenna's brain. So thank you, Brenna, and thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope you carry this knowledge with you as you move forward, and you can always reach out to us with questions. We'd love to connect. So love y'all.
Love you.
Bye.
long past J's, a face of blunt ashtrays and skate with punk kids. I still chasing some bad days. I'm lacing up half cabs and shake joint spliffs. Whatever happened to rap, it should rest in peace to Mac, and I'm here to raise it from the dead. Cause drugs ain't cool, kid, plug you with that new shit. Turn water to wine and break bread. And if I said this all the future, would you trust I told the truth, or would you run away and tell my whole fan base? Cause sooner or later, kid, they'll take your human nature and they'll burn you at the stakes while the band plays. So, in the last words, better speak up now. I said, why do birds sing? What's a king without a crown? They all stood in silence while they listened to the sound of a madman reason with the demons he found. You can't lock up ideas, we don't even exist. I just live through the speakers and the beats that we kick. Is this forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden? Is it freedom of speech, or am I speaking for freedom?